Senator Haynes.
Senator Ketchum, I know that what you're doing is well-meaning, and I respect that. But this is something that bothers me greatly, because there are people in the world that don't have driver's license, don't have a photo ID. There are people in the world that are 65 and older that have a driver's license without a photo ID on it. There's a class of people who are not indigent but yet don't have a photo ID. And to those people, your bill excludes them from voting in our state. I consider that enough of a problem that I would challenge you, and we do this a lot when we see there's question about legitimate questions about legislation that we have. We try to take public testimony. We try to study it. There's not another election till next year. I don't see what harm would be done if we took some public testimony and we studied this to try to see what we could do to improve it and work on it, and come back next year and try to adopt a system that is workable. I think you've done a good job of trying to patch this up, and I respect you for that. But I'm greatly concerned about people that fall in the categories that I just described, because what you are doing is either one, you're forcing somebody to lie that says in their affidavit of identity that they have a religious objection, or that they are indigent, and nobody's going to go out and check to see whether they're indigent. There's not going to be any system for that. That would be so burdensome that there'd be no way to work it out of an election commission office. And keep in mind, the people that run our polls for us, where people go to vote, are mostly retirees and people that want to do their public duty because they don't make a lot of money to come and stay and get there at 6 or 6:30 in the morning and stay to 7:30 or 8 that night. So you're putting a burden on them to make decisions that I think is really burdensome. And I think you're excluding a large number of people in Tennessee from having the opportunity to vote. And I'll concede to you, there are occasions where somebody votes a dead person, and that's wrong. And that's against the law. And there have been prosecutions, and there'll continue to be prosecutions. And that's why we passed that law, to make it wrong. And if you're voting somebody else, that's wrong. And that's a criminal act. So by and large, we've got the safeguards we need. And I just think that this has not stood the test of and the scrutiny that it needs to stand before we put it into law. And I think haste makes waste, and if we pass this, that's what we're doing, and I hope you'll reconsider. And I want to personally thank you for complying with my request to send it back to state and local, where we could have this kind of discussion when it was before finance the other day. And I appreciate you doing that, and I thank you for that. But I want to ask you one more time to let's look at this, and let's make sure as you use a balancing of these issues that it's something that we should do or should not do to exclude this large a number of voters who don't comply with the elements of the bill that you're asking us to pass. So I'm going to ask you if you would consider putting this in a study committee so we can look at this properly and make recommendations back to this committee next year. Would you consider that, Senator Ketron?
No, sir, Senator Haynes, I won't. You know, and